What do I do with objectives and goals? I put them in a system. This is the new management system at ICANN. I've done this before. This is not difficult. It's Business 101. We're going to take every one of the 4 objectives. We broke them down to 16 goals, 150 initiatives, 50 initiatives, and 156 programs. And these are being broken into projects. This system is being built now. We're putting everything in it. Every one of the dollars you give us will be in the system. I'll be able to look at this and know where is every dollar of the $74 million we're spending this year goes. What is it being spent on, for what, and who owns it? What are the dependencies? What are the risks? Who benefits from it? And moreover, next year when this system is completely up and running, I will expose it to you so you can look at it. You can go online and check what's going on. This is accountability. And this is what we will be doing. Without a system like that, I cannot confess that I manage ICANN for you. This will give me manageability. This will give me and you visibility. It will make us accountable for everything we do. And it will certainly stabilize the situation, because right now, a lot of crisis management, a lot of reactive management. We need to get into steady mode. Again, this is pretty straightforward. It's a change of culture maybe, but it's steady. We will get this done. This second and very important bit shows you how we plan to change the structure of ICANN completely. Because to get this mission done, we have to put a system in place, but we also have to do a structural change that allows us to achieve our goals. This is important because it was my way to understand what happens at ICANN. So I took all the responsibilities in ICANN and I grouped them in this slide. First, public and stakeholder engagement. This is an area that was marbled all over ICANN. Now we're pulling it out and making it the key top area we're going to be doing in order to embrace the world. Public stakeholder engagement is about listening, and not just listening and then going dark. Listening, engaging, building relationships, advocating things together. That's what engagement is. And this is very important. And you know, on my first day on the job, I brought both Sally Costerton and Dr. Tariq Kamel as our engagement leaders. This is very important, and it will change the way we engage in a structured, planned way on a global basis. And both of them are not based in Los Angeles. Okay? So we already have leaders into the leadership team who will be based outside the United States and outside of North America. This starts building and moving the decision-making to the globe, not just in the US. Our core technical functions, which give us the legitimacy and the role we have, whether it's IANA or the DNS, and certainly the security, stability, and resiliency mission that we have for the Internet. I'm separating registry and registrar functions into its own area. And this is important because, again, to date, these have been services offered by various areas within ICANN. We're now going to put all of these together into a single managed area, and we will have new business leadership looking at that area very specifically. This way we can manage, serve, grow, and give you what you expect when you come to do work with ICANN. This next area I heard about all summer. Okay? Even my wife talks to me about complying sometimes. It's a big deal, this compliance thing. So, first thing I did is I listened to all of you. I promoted the function. Maggie Serrad is now vice president, is reporting to me, and has complete independence to get her work done. I don't get involved in anything other than to ask her, what do you need to get your job done? What are the resources you need? What is the help you need? And we enable her. And I think you can have my confidence and hers that we're going to get this job done, and we'll do it properly so that there is no question, no reproach about ICANN's commitment to contractual compliance. I have even asked Maggie to look into getting a third party to audit her work so that we have a third party saying she is truly independently delivering her decisions. Communication. This is an area where we have a lot of work to do. And I'm very happy that Sally Costerton, who used to be the CEO of Hill & Knowlton in Europe and the Middle East, who has a very, very deep understanding of the area of communications, has also agreed to lead this area in addition to her engagement area. Obviously very linked and very close to each other, but separate functions that she will also be leading. And then our core organizational functions. These are the ones I singled out as a goal, making these mature and ready to do all the things we have to do. We cannot continue to function, as I said, like a small startup. So we have to get finance, HR, IT, procurement, all these things that enable the company to work to a new level of management. And again, Akram Attallah, who's our CEO, and myself have done this many times before, and we'll get this one right. Stakeholder support is foundational to what we do. We have to support you in the policy development processes, and we have to provide the secretariats that make our SOs and ACs able to do what they have to do. And finally, governance support. Governance support is the work that we do to provide legal advice, to provide support for our great board, to make them effective at what they do, and certainly to take with great care to put attention on the affirmation of commitments that we made and make them part of the way we work. And this is a very important area of focus for me. Now, let me finish this slide by explaining to you how all of this will work. So we're going to create local responsibilities, and you notice that only the top 6 areas have local responsibilities, because stakeholder support and governance support cannot be localized. These are global functions. But the rest of the functions will be localized. What does that mean for those of you who have not lived through the matrixing of an organization, which we plan to do through next calendar year? It means that, I'll give you an example, somebody could be in the communications department. He or she is responsible to Sally for achieving their goals, for doing the things they need to do. But at the same time, this person may be assigned, say, to India. And therefore, he or she is reporting also into the India leader and has to ensure that the India agenda is getting done. This is a typical matrix organization. But we're not just doing it to make a good-looking slide. We already are moving to change all of our HR policies. So people are actually evaluated and paid based on their matrix success. So we put our actions where our words are. We turn, and I've done this before, built matrix organizations, seen them fail, seen them do very well. We know that this will work. This will enable people to no longer be in their siloed departmental areas, but rather understand that they're part of a global team, and it is equally their responsibility to make sure that their local responsibilities do occur. Now, for those of you trying to read through my slide, are we going to have 3 regional offices, 4 regional offices? Please don't. This is detail. Let's first focus on getting the model right, and then we will see how we best get close to our stakeholders, and we will open whatever offices are needed, but that's not my priority. My priority is to think, how do we get closer, faster to our stakeholders and talk to them locally so they understand what we're doing for them and how we can help them get successful. So that's our new delivery structure. This will make us international. This will provide us with the integration, and I will tell you this quite frankly, ICANN is very siloed inside. It's a very siloed organization, and that cannot stay. That cannot stay. I cannot have a department not know what another department is doing. So the management system, by the way, which I showed you on the last slide, is not by department. It's completely done by program and initiative. So it takes a siloed organization and turns it upside down and cuts everything this way. This is quite a bit of change, and it will take time to implement all of this. But I already started. I already started. I know many people are looking at me to make all this happen, but I cannot make this happen without help. There's no way. There is just an incredible amount of work to be done at ICANN. So we have new leadership at ICANN. Let me share with you who are the new leaders. Of course, I will keep compliance close to me because I promised you I'll do that. Akram Atallah will look after the core technical services so we can continue delivering them with the excellence you expect, and he will also, as I said, own the organizational support functions. Sally Costerton is now on board as our Chief Stakeholder Engagement Officer, and she will be responsible for our public and stakeholder engagement, all the capacity building functions, the collaboration platforms we will build, and certainly on the communication side. Tariq Kamel will lead the government engagement. And I know some of you are already saying, hey, why do we have someone just for government engagement? Are they special? Well, because what I found out happens through the summer listening phase, which, by the way, never stops. I will keep listening. But what I found out happens is governments often, because of their unique ways, their demanding protocols, etc., end up siphoning a lot of the energy from engagement. So by separating these two, I actually will allow focus finally on all the stakeholders, and yet give governments the proper deference, the proper attention by a senior, very experienced person like Tariq, ex-minister of telecommunications of Egypt, someone who I hate to admit, when I go with him to government offices, I was at the European Commission with him, I get handshakes, he gets hugs. They know him. They know him. And this is to our credit, to have someone with this caliber, with this background, one of the founders of the IGF, one of the people who brought the internet to Egypt and Africa amongst us as a leader of our governmental engagement. David Olive is now part of my leadership team, and I'm very proud to have David Olive on my team, someone with deep experience and incredible integrity, who will be leading the policy development area for us. Kurt Pritz, whom many of you know, is really in many ways, if I could use the term, the brain behind a lot of what happens at ICANN. I'm pulling Kurt into my circle as my head of strategy. This way he stays close with me, I leverage his incredible knowledge of ICANN, and I have him help me on very specific strategies. He's the one who's going to help me keep a place at ICANN where we're not dealing with the now, where we're thinking a little bit about what's happening next. And I thank him for agreeing to be part of my office to help me with that. Of course, Kurt will also be responsible for thinking forward about the multi-stakeholder model evolution, the reviews, the affirmation of commitment. Okay? So these will all be in Kurt's area. And of course, John Jeffrey, my partner, whom I've discovered this summer, is actually one of, I mean, in my opinion, and I've had many general counsels since I was 28, one of the smartest GCs that I've ever met, very knowledgeable. And I know, so I'm going to put this out, and John, forgive me, that many of you have also told me this summer, oh, JJ, as we call him endearingly, is all over the place. You know, he makes all the decisions. Let me be clear on this. JJ is doing his job. What wasn't happening is others doing their job. We balance things. We deal with things in an executive, smart, calm way. And then the input that comes from our great legal team becomes part of the input. And John Jeffrey and I are 100% in sync on this, and you will see that moving forward in the way we work at ICANN. Now, this is not a pretty face yet, but I wanted to make sure you appreciate that I plan to bring a very senior executive reporting into my office who will own the registry and registrar services for the new GTLDs and the old GTLDs, if I could call them that. So this is important because, again, this is an area that, in my opinion, has been a bit muddled inside ICANN. It's a little bit all over the place. We own it. We do what we can. But the focus on it to make it an area of service excellence is very important. So we will be bringing someone on board that will help us in this area. So now I juxtapose the pictures and the last slide, so we're clear who owns what. Ownership is the first and most important step of accountability. Okay, so I want to be very clear who owns what, and this is how we will manage. Now, I put a picture next to the registry and registrar services with dotted lines because effective this morning, I hired a very senior executive to start helping me on a consulting basis to get this area together. And he's here with us. So I'm going to ask our leadership team to all stand so everybody see them. Okay, Sally Costerton, Tarek. Come on up, come on up. Come here, come. Let them see you so they know you. So at least you're not all coming after me. You can go after them a little bit. So come up on the stairs so they all see you. Of course, Sally, David Olive, Tarek Kamel, Akram Atala, Kurt Pritz, John Jeffrey, and my new right hand for the registry and registrar services, and the person I'm going to work with in the next few months to figure out how to get this area right, Jean-François Baril, our first senior executive from France, also a colleague who was one of the co-founders with me of RosettaNet, who built an amazing consensus in the telecom industry in the early 2000s to build common standards that everybody shared. Jean-François, most recently, until a couple of years ago, was the chief procurement officer and head of the value chain of Nokia, managing over $30 billion of business for Nokia. He brings tremendous business experience and will help us get this right. But this is the team that I think will help us all get ICANN into a new season. So thank you for that. Sure, Akram?
Second French executive.
Second.
French executive.
I apologize. Second French executive. Who was the first one? Xavier. That's right. In the lead. I have many French people up here, so I need to be careful. My apologies, Xavier. Speaking of Xavier, I want to be clear. Besides the leadership team, we also have done something that I think will change the culture at ICANN and make us work much better. I have tripled the size of our executive team. We had a very small executive team, and we now have, including the leaders, 36 people, which you could consider the senior staff of ICANN. Now, you may say 36 people, that's a lot of people to manage a couple hundred people. But frankly, you know that these 36 people are working to serve a much larger group and a much larger community than the 150 people who have ICANN business cards. And these 36 people, our executives, by bringing them closer to me and to the leadership, we ensure there is no light between my office and how ICANN is managed. And I meet with them regularly, and we started a lot of programs already. We now will be starting very shortly something even simple called the WhatsApp call, where once a month, get on the phone with all the staff, all the executives, and we talk and make sure everyone is in the know and everything is linked together into one mission to get the job done for you. This is not complete without me bringing up the new and very deep and open relationship with our board of directors. I run around with this slide in my pocket, and I tell my executives, this is how we manage. We manage as a team, working together with the great board that we have today. And I put the board members, I asked them, where can you help me? And they each told me, hey, I can help you with this, I can help you with that. And that's for me and for my team. I must tell you, if Steve would permit me, there was a lot of chatter this summer that I heard also about the relationship between the executives and the staff and the board. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But that's over. It's just over. At our first all-staff meeting in LA, the board was there. That was a first. We did a picnic for 2 hours, and the board and the staff mingled and talked. I removed all barriers of communications between our board and our staff. There's no need for that. We're one team. We work together. We're trying to get the job done. My job is to manage, not to restrict communications. And if my team understands that, then the more communications, the better. And really, we're clapping for the great board that has allowed me to enter into this relationship with them. And I'm I've had many boards over the years. This is a tremendous board. The talent on our board is remarkable. Everywhere I go, I call them, hey, can you come with me? Again, never happened before in the last few years. I take them with me. And Erika Mann, when she took me to the European Commission, changed completely my meetings. Steve Crocker, when he came to me with meetings in Washington, changed things. Our board members just helped us with the India, complete turnaround by the India government. Thank you, Ramaraj. Thank you, Ram. This is how it should work. And I hope that one day, after getting to know all of you for a couple more years, I'll have many more bubbles and many of you in them too. Because we must help each other to get this job done. That's the new team of ICANN.